There are apparently hundreds of emails wanting G-Man back in Appalachian wrestling commentary. Well, there is one fan with a "We want G-Man back" sign outside of the facility, and then a few random types waiting to come in, I think, who were asked to cheer and then do. So I'm not quite sure that the campaign to get him back after he was cruelly defenestrated, metaphorically speaking, by Tony Presley, I don't think the campaign's going that well. But newsflash, folks, in Appalachian Wrestling 13, Appalachian Mountain Wrestling 13, that is, he will be back later on, and the commentary team will be so delighted they'll stop commentating on a match. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Tony Presley, who is the president of New South Wrestling and AMW, Appalachian Mountain Wrestling, introduces the program, really, and I've got the comments here. Says the commentators, the commentary team, he's been told legally they have to be reinstated. So the sign has worked. I'm not quite sure it was the sign that worked. But anyway, on June the 15th, Stan Sierra, who we saw teaming up again with Kyle Maggard last week in a kind of I'm a good guy again feel, although that'll be a bit confusing later on in this programme, will face James Storm, because he says that after he tried to shake the hand of Stan Sierra, and Stan just looked into his eyes, he says, "You left me standing, laying and standing." That's right. You left me laying and standing. Well, he can't have done both. What did he do? Knock him to the ground and pick him up so he could stare? And he didn't. He left him standing, not laying and standing. So he'll face James Storm and Kyle Maggard. They're both teaming together, you see, against Presley. Will face Misery from New South. Now, Adrian Alexander is auditioning new tag team partners, although he did turn up last week with the tag team tournament situation with what looked like a partner. That's forgotten now. But anyway, talking of tag teams, we had the Heat Seekers, Elliot Russell, Matt Sigmon, versus Grappling Inc., Titan Troy and Brox Boulder. Bloody hell, Brox Boulder. So, in this match, there is a Matt Signum armbar, which is reversed. Good mat work, actually, to begin with on this one. An arm drag, and Sigmund has to bail. Then you've got a Boulder arm ringer and a quick tag to Troy. An axe handle off the top, double splash. It did look like Troy missed. Looked like Boulder was a bit too far down the body, and Troy only really hit the ankles. But I suppose he's done some damage to those ankles, so that's good. Yeah. Now, Troy steps on Boulder's back for a snapmare, which is very nice. And then Troy flips Boulder into a cannonball. That's bloody great, because Boulder's a big guy. There is, though, a big Elliot Russell clothesline, who's the bigger guy on the Heat Seekers team. A delayed sidewalk slam. A standing bow and arrow, which is very nice. And at that point, they don't call the standing bow and arrow because G-Man's back and they just want to talk about that. There is, in the meantime, a Sigmon choke from the apron. A Troy crossbody for a 1 count. The Heat Seekers then get a drop toe hold to an elbow. They start talking again about this point, I think, if I remember rightly. And then there's a Boulder spinebuster for a 2.999 recurring. And Boulder picks up, I think it's Titan Troy, that's right, his own man, and then lawn darts him into a spear, which is just lovely. Electric chair roll up from Troy, which is great. And Boulder just throws Troy into the top rope. Or was it Troy or was it Elliot Russell? Anyway, there's a slam and then a Sigmund splash for the pin. And I don't think that he was the legal man. I didn't see any tag, but it was a good piece of work. And afterwards, the box office blonde are out to sarcastically clap the Heat Seekers. And yeah, but they won, and it was a good piece of work. Right, here's Lord Murphy Costigan, so business is about to pick up. Now, he's saying that he's got to fight the Mad Tailor, and he wants him to sew some prom dresses, Mr. Telepresenter, as he says. He'll stick the needle up his backside. That's great. Great. And here comes the tailor, who, of course, jabbing him with a needle. So, of course, Lord goes. Of course he does. Well, jab him with a needle. And he says he's got a little bit of Trowbridge in him. Trowbridge is it's in Kent, isn't it? He's a little florid in his delivery, and I quite like it. That'll be interesting, although I do think the Mad Tailor persona is not great. Right, Bo James and Mega Destroyer versus Josh Benson and Eric Porter. Bo James has got a whip. We know that. Whip, crack away, whip, crack away, whip, crack away. And he takes Porter down. The Mega Destroyer, who's masked, has got knees to Josh Benson's back. There's a big Eric Porter clothesline. Mr. Alexander is on the outside at this point, of course, offering support, both moral and physical. There's a head crank, a double clothesline. Mega Destroyer needs the tag badly, but there's no partner there for Benson. And then there are right hands from Bo James. He gets the tag, the hot tag, right hands. He throws Benson into Porter, which is kind of like a spear for them. Double clothesline, and there's a pin. And really, the two heels, Porter and Alexander, just left Josh Benson to it. That's very naughty. And then we've got Stan Sierra, who takes about half an hour to get into the ring with Adrian Alexander, of course. And he's facing Anthony Cooley. Now, Stan Sierra teamed up with Kyle Maggard last week. Does that make him a face? They're saying it's great and that he's teamed up with him, but the people he hangs round with, Mr. Alexander, he's a heel, isn't he? But anyway, I was very tired by the time he got in the ring. There's a power game to begin with. Headlock is worked. Cooley gets a shoulder block. Stan Sierra bails. And Stan goes to the ice. And apparently, according to the commentary team, there's nobody like him. I have seen quite a lot of wrestlers like him. But I watch a lot of wrestling. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe there isn't anybody like him. And I just think there is because I've seen a lot of wrestling. Anyway, he hits a poor snapmare. Very nice jawbreaker. Poor clothesline from Cooley, I'm afraid. And a back kick, which is all right. He then sees Mr. Higgins, the baseball bat, coming, blocks it, throws Mr. Higgins, and then hits an odd-looking cutter. It's kind of like a travelling side cutter. Bit weird. Takes the bat, and then he's distracted by, I think, Mr. Alexander, if I remember rightly, for the stunner and the pin, and it wasn't great. What also wasn't great is Tony Presley again offering a handshake. He didn't do it last time. Now's the time to do it. And Stan Sierra, essentially, I do damage to him. And Presley, of course, getting out of there. Right. It wasn't the best Appalachian Mountain Wrestling episode I've seen. There was quite a lot of stuff that was only ordinary. You have got Lord Murphy, Costigan, and the Mad Tailor, who I quite enjoyed this week. I'm a bit worried about that. But that'll be a good fight. I wasn't massively keen on Stan Sierra, to be honest. But maybe that'll get better. And I'm willing to give it more opportunity. Because there's something here which I'm really rather enjoying. But it wasn't, unfortunately, that episode. Ta-ta.